My brother has always liked audiences. Even at family dinners he performs. Stories get bigger. Numbers get rounded up. Every promotion becomes a saga. That night was no different. We were halfway through dinner when he leaned back in his chair and asked, "So how's the little internet thing going?" He said it lightly, smiling at our father as if inviting him into the joke. Dad didn't look up from his plate. "Still playing business on the computer?" he asked. There was no edge in his voice. Just dismissal. The same tone he used when I told him, years ago, that I wasn't applying to law school. "It's not a real job," my brother added. "You can't build a future clicking around online." I kept eating. It would have been easy to correct them. To explain funding rounds, revenue multiples, equity structures. But I'd learned that information rarely changes someone's framework. They believed in tangible things. Offices with corner windows, titles printed on business cards. What I did existed in screens and server rooms. Invisible, therefore unserious. For a long time, that bothered me more than I admitted. I built the company out of a one-bedroom apartment. I coded the first version myself, slept 4 hours a night for 2 years. When investors came in, I didn't announce it at dinner. When we hired our 50th employee, I didn't bring champagne home. Part of me wanted them to ask. They never did. Dad spent 25 years at the same manufacturing plant. Stability was his religion. My brother followed him into a corporate job with a clear ladder. Promotions came with plaques. I built something with no ladder at all. At the table, my brother laughed again. "One day you'll get a real office." Dad smirked faintly. I swallowed and nodded as if the conversation were harmless. Then the television in the living room interrupted whatever game had been playing. The volume rose automatically with the breaking news alert. Breaking. Tech startup valuation hits $4 billion following latest funding round. No one moved at first. My mother turned in her chair. Dad frowned slightly, annoyed at the interruption. The anchor continued, speaking clearly, confidently. The company name came next, mine. The screen shifted to footage of our office building, then to a photo of me taken at a conference 6 months earlier. I recognized the suit. There's a strange stillness that happens when reality rearranges itself mid-sentence. My brother stopped smiling. Dad leaned forward, squinting at the television as if clarity depended on proximity. Founded by Daniel Mercer, who started the company 8 years ago. My name, spoken by someone who didn't know me, somehow carried more authority than when I said it myself. No one looked at me immediately. They watched the segment in full. Market analysts discussing growth. A clip of me speaking about innovation and long-term strategy. I felt heat in my face, but not from embarrassment. When the segment ended, the room didn't erupt. It quieted. My brother cleared his throat. "That's your company?" "Yes," I said. Dad shifted in his chair. $4 billion? That's the current valuation. He processed the word slowly. Valuation? Not salary, not wage. "And you," he began, then stopped. "You run it?" "I do." It wasn't triumphant to say. It felt almost administrative. My brother gave a short laugh that didn't carry the same ease as before. "Wes, that's more than clicking around." I didn't respond. For a moment, I waited for something I'd imagined for years. An apology. A change in tone. A sentence that bridged the gap between their skepticism and my persistence. Instead, Dad asked, "Is it stable?" It was such a practical question that I almost smiled. "Yes," I said. "It's stable." He nodded once, as if stability was the final test. Dinner resumed, but differently. My brother asked about investors. Dad asked how many employees we had. My mother asked whether I was sleeping enough. No one referenced the earlier comments. On the drive home, I realized something uncomfortable. The validation felt good. Not because of the number attached to it, but because it forced them to reconsider the story they'd been telling about me. But it also felt late. I'd spent years chasing an invisible finish line, the moment when they would see my work as legitimate. Yet when it arrived, carried by a news anchor's voice, it didn't feel like arrival. It felt like clarification. Their understanding shifted because the market confirmed it. Mine had shifted long before. The next week Dad called. Not to apologize. To ask questions about how startups raise capital. He listened more than he spoke. My brother sent a message, "Proud of you," short, slightly awkward. I appreciated both. But something inside me had already settled. Success had never really been about convincing them. It was about building something I believed in, even when the room I came from didn't. At the next family dinner, no one joked about my job. They asked what I was working on next. And this time, when I answered, I didn't need the television to back me up.